Honey, I just sent you the test's results of our daughter. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did. To be honest, I was quite surprised. She got A in almost all subjects. Especially A in math. I heard that math test in this semester was so tough that just 3 students got a mark.
Hard work pays off, Aaron. Lisa has tried a lot for the tests.
I didn't know if I could pass that test. Lisa is amazing. She has made huge progress since that last semester. Some parents also called me to ask why Lisa can achieve that high score. I'm so proud of her.
I'm so glad we hired that private tutor. She's been doing so well since he started coming to the house to teach her. With grades like this, she's going to pass that private middle school entrance exam. No doubt. It's hard to believe our baby is going to be at one of the best schools in the entire state. I can't wait to tell the whole family. Not to mention, it's gonna look good on Mr. Tom's resume.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We still have a lot of time until the actual exam, let alone bragging to everyone she got in. The private school is not going to be that easy. It might be the best school, but it's also the most exclusive.
I know, but parents can't help themselves but get their hopes up. I want to see her succeed.
I get it. We're just lucky we found someone smart enough to tutor her.
So you finally gonna stop worrying about it now? About whether or not we're going to keep the tutor and whether or not he's good enough for her. Every time he comes over, you ask a million questions about him like you're interrogating him.
Well, he does get the job done. Can't agree more with that. But I never had any problems with him. What matters to me is, does Lisa have a problem with him?
No way she has any problems with him. Studying is more fun with someone else than doing it on our own, right? She's happy with him here and her test grades prove it.
Her grades don't prove whether or not she's having fun. I gotta admit that I'm kind of worried about her. Doesn't she seem kinda off these days? Like, does she not just seem down all the time? I thought something might have happened between them to make them not get along anymore. Have either of them told you anything like that?
No, they seem perfectly happy with each other. You don't have to worry about that kind of thing. Tom is like one in the family. Actually, he's a college student, so he's more like an older brother to her. It's not unusual for kids to bicker about small things. They'll get used to each other soon. Give it time.
Really? Have you ever thought about something that's kind of crazy? Then he must have his hands full with his own homework and tests too. He's in medical school, right? I couldn't imagine getting through that even without a side hustle. With graduation coming up next year, I would think he would have to buckle down or something. But I guess all that money we're spending on a tutor is worth it.
Apparently, he doesn't come from a lot of money, so he started tutoring to have some money. He's just like one of those students, they do that kind of thing all the time. When his college's tutor program recommended him to us, even I was a little unsure because it is a lot of money. But Tom is good people and he's doing such a good job, right?
I remember I spent all my college years partying and having fun, lol. Oh, those days. Carefree and worry-free. It's awesome he's so driven at such a young age. I don't even have that kind of drive at my age.
And he's good looking too. He's got such nice clothes and so much style.
Don't even joke about that, about to ruin my day.
Why are you trying to compete with a young guy like him anyway? Don't tell me you're getting jealous. You're the man I married, so you should have nothing to worry about. Besides, it was just a joke, don't be so sensitive. You shouldn't compare yourself to other people. Each person have different ability. So there's no use in trying to control something you can't control.
You're right. But let's get back. Why does Lisa seem so down these days? Is the tutor's material too hard? Or maybe she's not interested in the subjects that are on the exam?
No way, she talks about that exam all the time. She's always so excited when she gets things right. She's the one who said she wanted to go to that school. She wants to learn the material on the exam. That's why we hired the tutor in the first place.
If it's not Mr. Tom and it's not the material, it must be some other part of her life. But what else is there? All she does is go to school, come home, study, and go to bed, right? Maybe something happened at her current school? Has she said anything about having a falling out with her friends? Getting into arguments? Or having a rough day? Because she might be having a hard time connecting with her classmates if she thinks she's going to be moving school soon.
Nah. But you know her, she's always been the type to focus on her studies. She doesn't have that many friends to even fall out with. And she doesn't really open up about her feelings to people, even us.
I'll try asking her when I get home tonight. Maybe I'll take off early to make it home in time. She's been staying up till like 9 o'clock, right?
Maybe you shouldn't.
Why not?
Your work is important and we need that paycheck. Besides, I didn't want to have to say this, but you know, Lisa is getting to be about that age. Girls like her don't like talking to their fathers about their feelings. She's at that age where girls need their mothers to help them through. When I was her age, I went to my mother for everything. If you're so worried about it, I can ask her about her school tonight before you get home. You don't have to bother yourself with it.
All right, if you insist. Sorry to make you do all the work.
No problem, Aaron. You just need to focus on your work. And let me take care of the rest.
Evelyn, are you at home? I feel like burnout a little bit. These days are so hectic, I'm so tired of that. I'm just finishing up and I'm on my way home. By the way, I'm going to go to department stores to grab something. Do you and Lisa want something?
I don't know if she wants anything. Did something happen today?
She studies with her tutor, right? So I thought she might be tired and she'd like something sweet as a reward for her hard work.
Okay, I'll ask her. She wants a pudding. And can you grab me a random soda?
Okay then. I'll pick some up on the way home. By the way, how was the tutor today? Was anything off about them?
I didn't notice anything off about either of them. They just studied together as always. I think they made really great progress today.
Are you sure they didn't fight or argue or anything?
I just told you, there wasn't. What has gone into you all of a sudden? You seem to be so worked up over Lisa right now. Are you still on about her seeming down, or whatever? What actual reason do you have to suspect anything is wrong with her?
I actually got some texts from her this evening.
This evening? Weren't you at work? Why would she be texting you at such a late hour? What did she say?
Well, I don't know why she texted me so late. So I assumed something must have happened. She said she didn't want him to come over anymore. She said she doesn't need him anymore and she wants to try studying on her own.
Did she really say that? She's struggling with the material, so I find it hard to believe she doesn't need a tutor anymore. Did she say why she doesn't need him?
I don't have a clue. She just said she didn't want him to come anymore. That's why I wanted to ask you if they fought or anything today. But there must have been something that made her change her mind. Otherwise, Lisa would never say something like that. So I'm thinking it must have been something he did wrong.
I don't think Tom is the problem. Like I told you before, Tom is just doing such a good job.
Evelyn, it doesn't matter how good of a job he's doing if she doesn't like him. I don't want to be the kind of parent that forces their kid to see a tutor they don't want to see. I want to let kids do the things they actually want to do instead.
I didn't want to say this, but I have to. Perhaps it's her own fault. Tom has done absolutely nothing wrong.
Her own fault?
She hasn't been keeping up with his assignments lately. Tom's also been worried about that. He's apparently trying out lots of different ways to get her back on track. But every time he comes over and he tried something new, nothing seems to be working. I think it'll just take some time. It's a matter of trial and error.
What do you mean? I just asked you if there were any problems. Where was this trial and error talk just a few minutes ago?
Anyways, there's no personal problem between her and Tom. They get along just fine and she is slowly keeping up with the workload. It's just her grades on those assignments aren't as high as they could be.
I already said this, but it doesn't matter how hard he's working to make her pass. What matters is whether or not Lisa is having fun learning with him.
How can you say that when he's doing everything he can to make sure our daughter gets the best education? He's sacrificing his own study time to think up new ways to help our daughter. Even though he's got tuition and bills to worry about. How could you think of firing him when he's trying so hard for us?
Evelyn, what in the world are you even talking about? We hired a private tutor for our daughter's sake, not for him. Yet you keep talking about him text after text instead of her.
Well, yeah. That may be the case, but...
Since when you gotten close enough to Tom? I can feel that, Evelyn.
What? It just kind of happened over time. There's nothing weird about that. Tom is doing great for our daughter. So it's a common sense that I will be nice for him. Doesn't that make sense? Tom is kind of a good friend to me.
Well, there's nothing wrong to be friend with Lisa's tutor. But don't forget that the only reason we have him in our lives is for Lisa. As soon as she passes her exam, he's not going to be around anymore.
Surely I know that. I just don't think there's anything wrong with the arrangement we've had up till now. That's all I'm trying to say.
Anyways, Lisa has spoken. She doesn't like him. If her feelings don't change, then we have no choice but to let him go. You are with me on this, right?
I want us to be on the same page, but Tom really is trying his best. We can't just drop him out of nowhere like that. Think of how much it'll hurt him and his future.
If you can't be the one to say it, don't worry, I can also so help. Please, don't say another word to dismiss our daughter's wishes. Or I will fire him right here and now. I have no qualms about that. I'm tired of you taking his side over hers. Evelyn, where is Lisa?
What do you mean? What's wrong? Shouldn't you still be working? I thought you weren't supposed to use your phone while you were at work.
Yeah, but I got out early today. What about Lisa? Don't tell me she's not with you.
Of course she is. Where else can she be at this time? She's studying in her room like she always is.
Really? Are you sure about that?
I'm sure, Aaron.
So who is the kid standing next to me?
What do you mean? There's no way Lisa's with you.
You took the words right out of my mouth. How can you just sit there and tell me whatever lie you come up with first?
Lie? I haven't lied to you about anything.
You're a liar. I ended work early because I got a text from our daughter. We're gonna spend the night at Grandma's house. We're already here now.
Oh, that's nice. She must enjoy the company. So I take it then you picked her up from the park? Thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't get there at a reasonable time.
So you're just going to ignore the fact that you just tried telling me? By the time I got the call from Lisa, it was already 6 p.m. Why is a child outside by herself at 6 p.m. at night? She said you were the one who told her to leave. And yet Tom was still at the house. What's that all about?
What are you so mad for? I had something important to talk to Tom. And I just asked her to step outside for a minute. I was going to get her as soon as we were done.
Are you for real? If all you're doing is talking, there's no need to make her go outside.
It wasn't a conversation a kid should hear.
What kind of conversation are you having that requires a fourth grader to leave the house in the middle of the night? Lisa said this happened each and every time her tutor comes over to the house. How many of these conversations have you been having? I'll take your silence to mean you ran out of excuses.
I'm not making excuses. Stop talking to me like that. You make it sound like I'm doing something behind your back.
Well, what you're saying doesn't make sense at all. That's why you always make her leave so you don't get caught.
Look, Aaron. I am sorry I made her go outside by herself at night. I learned my lesson, so now we can go ahead and just move on from that. It's over. So don't just up and take that and make a bunch of stories about me that aren't even true. There is nothing weird going on.
It seems that you are trying way too hard. You can't talk your way out of this one though.
What is that supposed to mean?
Lisa told me she saw the two of you holding each other. She told me herself that very next day you started making her study outside in the park by herself. As if making a child study outside without adult supervision far from home wasn't bad enough. You still want to keep denying it.
That night was not what it looked like. I was just checking his pulse. He was teaching me how they teach it in medical school. She just happened to walk in at that moment, but it wasn't even that big of a deal. You can't just believe everything you hear from a small child.
Then why would you make her leave every night after that? That part doesn't make any sense if you were just checking his pulse. But what does make sense is our daughter discovered your affair and you put her out to cover it up.
How can you even say that? Why won't you believe me?
Well, because I don't have any reason to believe you. I could notice that you started defending him so passionately. I bet that was so you could continue your affair. You have to be some kind of evil to put the interests of your secret lover over the interest of your own daughter. I guess I never really knew the real you until now. We're done here.
Wait a minute. Don't tell me you're thinking about divorce or anything like that. Are you think of our child? What this could do to her?
Don't act surprised. Even after all this, you're still thinking about knowing but yourself. I'm done being made a fool of by you. Of course, we're getting a divorce.
In that case, don't blame Tom for any of this. He's done nothing wrong. If you agree, I have no problem going through with the divorce.
Well, after all, you're still protecting your dear lover.
I lost the feeling with you for a long time ago. You never care about me, you just care about your job. At least, I can feel the sense of caring when being with Tom.
Huh. If I didn't work, how can I feed this whole family? If so, how Lisa can study in a good school in town? I can't believe that I pay the money for my wife's boyfriend. After that, Evelyn and I got our divorce and I got full custody of our daughter. If none of this had ever happened, Tom should have become a doctor in only one more year. But after the suit, he was disowned by his parents. With no steady income, no support from home, court bills to pay, school debt mounting. I hear he's had to drop out of medical school. Now he's apparently working some part-time job trying to make ends meet. Evelyn's is the same with her lover. I successfully took all the houses, cars, and other assets after the lawsuit. She now had to return her parents' house.
Alice, we need to talk.
What can I help you, Mom?
Your father and I are going to be moving tomorrow.
Hold on. Where did this come from? This isn't something you just drop on someone out of nowhere.
That's why I'm telling you now we are moving tomorrow. Starting tomorrow, you are going to be living alone.
Mom, I don't think I quite understand everything that's going on here. Where are you moving to?
We're moving to Maya's house. Starting tomorrow, we're going to be living with her.
What? You're abandoning me out of nowhere and decide to move in with my big sister. But is Maya's house actually an apartment, isn't it? And she is paying rent for it monthly, right? How are you planning on living there? Your moving there just causes trouble with her lease.
You really are stupid.
Excuse me.
Of course, we aren't planning to live in her apartment. There's no way we'd do something like that.
Then where do you all intend to live? I still find this all incredibly hard to believe, Mom.
We're going to be living in a new house. I'm talking about a new house that Maya's family built a new house.
Maya and her family built a house?
Yes, that's right. The house is a duplex. And they built it for your father and me.
I see, Mom. That's good to hear, but why am I only hearing about this now? I haven't heard a thing from Maya about having built a new house nor about any moving plan.
What? Why do you think we had to talk to you about it? It's not like we need your permission to do anything. Well, it would have actually been a problem if we had talked to you about it earlier.
What do you mean by that?
If I had talked to you before, you would have just done everything you could to tag along with us. You would have tried to shamelessly guilt-trip us into bringing you along. That's what Maya was worrying about.
What are you talking about? Why on earth would I want to go along with you? What makes you think I would be?
Come on, Alice. Look at you. You're already 28 and you're still single and living with your parents. Meanwhile, Maya's husband is a very successful business manager and a super rich. It's not strange at all to think that you'd want to take advantage of their money.
I have no idea how you could have come to such a ridiculous conclusion. You know how much I've hated Maya? She's always bullying me and rubbing her every little success in my face. Do you think I would just forget about all of that and want to move into her house? That would be the furthest thing from my mind. I'm nowhere near that desperate.
Don't be rude, Alice. It was just a reasonable guess, like I said earlier. This is what Maya was worried about. She was thinking that maybe you'd try to barge in on her life and ruin her family's happy life in her new home. If things ended up like that, it would mean serious trouble for me too.
Mom, that response certainly doesn't surprise me in the slightest. This is how you've always been, always thinking of Maya over me. What makes you think I would ever want to come along and continue living with uncaring parents like you? Not only that. You told me some time ago that living alone and single would have looked poorly on me to begin with. You are the one who was whining so much about the idea of me living alone that I just decided to stay with you so you would shut up about it. Don't go acting like I ever intended to live in this house ever since I became an adult. It's all because of your whining that I'm still here.
Stop trying to act tough around me, Alice. It's not going to work. Don't try to lie and say it was anything else other than you wanting to just live off us like a worthless parasite.
Oh, sure. That's just the kind of thing I'd expect to hear from someone like you, someone who left me to do every last bit of housework like I was your maid. People like you often try to say something like that to your kids when they start speaking up against you. Well, whatever. Since you're moving out tomorrow, I'll finally get to say goodbye to all of your bull once and for all. Frankly, I'm relieved to hear that that's what you've decided to do. I suppose I'll just look forward to finally living how I want to.
Oh, and one last thing I need to tell you. You had better continue living in that house, got it?
Excuse me? I'd prefer to move as soon as I possibly can. I would be happy to not live one more second in this house. There's no reason for me to have to follow any such demand.
Don't think I'll let you get away with doing that. You do realize that that house is our family home, right? I would never forgive you if you just selfishly abandoned our family's property.
Are you crazy? Are you even listening to what you're saying? If you care so much about this house, the two of you should be the ones to take care of it. Not me.
What? There's no way we would be able to do something like that. Just think for 1 second. Once we move, your father and I are going to be so busy helping Maya every day. You do realize Maya is working too, right? Since she's working, she's asked her father and me to deal with all of the housework. It's ridiculous to think that we would be able to take care of our old house when we'll be so busy already in Maya's. That only leaves you. Everything will turn out just fine if you just live in our old house and take care of it yourself.
What do you think I can handle all of this on my own? You're crazy. That's out of the question. How about we look at how you're only telling me this the day before you move out? You haven't discussed this with me at all. So I have no need to listen to you either.
How dare you? Are you forgetting who raised you? What makes you think you can act like this towards your mother? I just don't understand how you could have grown to be this ungrateful, insolent woman when Maya turned out perfectly. At the very least, if you had just gotten a job with $1,000 or something, then this would be a totally different story.
So now you're trying to insult me because of what kind of work I do. I'd appreciate it if you didn't badmouth every aspect of my life. I suppose I can't just cry about how it's so unfair that you only think about Maya. I'm far too old for something childish like that. I am already well aware that no matter what I say to you, you won't give me the time of day. You clearly gave up on me ages ago.
That's right. I guess I did raise you into someone who can at least understand some things. Then I'll be counting on you starting tomorrow. And you won't need anything to eat for dinner tonight. Your father and I are going to be eating out with Maya's family. So I won't be there to make anything for you.
Whatever. Enjoy your dinner out with the only family you actually care about. I don't exactly want to see your faces at all after today. So I'll be staying at a friend's place tonight.
Excuse me? What about helping us with our move? If you don't get everything packed up for us, it will cause trouble for everyone.
I figured you would say that. It's amazing just how unbelievably predictable you are. Why do you think I'm going to a friend's house in the first place? You're the ones who decided to plan all this behind my back in the first place? Why not take this as your first chance to get used to living life without relying on me? You'll be fine, I'm sure.
What? You had better stay right at home. I'm telling you that there will be serious trouble if you don't help us with preparing for the move. Alice. Living in a new house is just so nice. This is just the kind of life I would expect from having such a successful businessman as a son-in-law. I've never before experienced such an elegant, refined lifestyle.
Mom. Seriously? If you want to gush about how amazing your life is, you can just write it in a diary or perhaps talk to someone who actually cares. There's no need to keep messaging me about everything.
Living together with Maya's family must be the best thing.
Mom.
You disobedient little wretch. Since I first told you about our move, you haven't even shown your face to me. And you've just been out playing with your friends and acting all innocent. You're still keeping that promise you made to me, aren't you? There will be serious consequences if you aren't.
Promise?
Don't play dumb. I'm talking about you living at our old house and taking proper care of it. Have you been cleaning it daily? There will be serious trouble if you have been neglecting it.
I'm certainly living in the house right now. But apart from that, I don't see why you feel the need to be constantly telling me to do. It's nothing more than a nuisance.
I don't know why I'm even surprised that you continue to talk back like this to me anymore. When are you going to finally grow up and learn to accept some responsibility? It would be so much better if you could just learn even a little bit from Maya. She's a proper daughter who respects her parents and treats them properly.
What? You even care at this point? Instead of constantly worrying about a daughter like me who according to you can't amount to anything. Why aren't you just focusing on living happily ever after with your favorite daughter Maya? Isn't talking to me just putting a damper on your happy new life with the only daughter that matters to you?
I wouldn't put it like that. I'm not even close to worried about you. All your father and I are worried about is if our house is still in pristine condition. I'm only talking to you to make sure you're taking good care of it. This was originally something we were hoping to leave to some agency or another that could take care of it for us. But we figured it would be a waste of money when we have our parasitic daughter around. So we thought it would just be easiest to leave it to you. We've been doing you a favor by leaving you a place to live. So, it shouldn't be so strange for us to just ask you to take care of the place.
Sorry, Mom. I have no idea what you're talking about. You should just stop worrying about me and go enjoy your fun new life in your new house. I'm in the house, that's all that matters, right?
I suppose yes. I guess Maya and I just worry too much. No matter how anxious we get about what you could be neglecting. If we worry about it every day, it would just take years off of our lives.
Whatever, Mum. I don't see how continuing to make snide remarks at me is helping anything either. So I'm just going to go. Bye.
You are such a disgusting daughter. Whatever. Remember, you need to keep taking good care of the house. Alice. Where are you at? Text me right back.
What's wrong, Mom? It's 6 a.m. I'm even sleeping.
I tell you countless times that you had to take good care of the house.
Excuse me? I am taking good care of the house I'm living.
What? You're living in our house, aren't you? I'm getting complaints from everyone. The neighborhood has been complaining to us about a cat living at our house. That cat is pooping all over our garden. Our old neighbors have noticed the smelly scent and are complaining to us about it.
Huh? The cat? I have no idea, Mom. I don't own a cat. I don't know what they're complaining about. There's not a single cat in or around the house. And garden? There's no garden at my house. I'm living in an apartment, sorry.
What do you mean by that? An apartment? What are you talking about?
Don't you think it would be more helpful to go looking at your old house first? If there's all those complaints coming in from the neighbors, it might be better to go check the damage for yourself. It sounds to me like there might be some problems you're going to have to deal with.
What in the world happened here? The place looks utterly desolate. How could you let it fall into such disrepair? You said you were taking care of the house.
What? Didn't you hear me the first time? I am taking care of my house. Or rather, my apartment. Oh, right, there's one other thing I'm taking care of right now. You just happened to text me as I was finishing up some important work. I have been working to isolate every aspect of my life from all of you. So you can never interfere with my affairs again.
What are you talking about? This isn't something you just drop on someone out of nowhere.
What do you mean? Like how you and Dad did the same to me with your whole moving out. There shouldn't be any problem with me just telling you this now. It's not like I felt you needed to know anything about it. I'm just treating you the exact same way you treated me. You certainly didn't think it was important to let me know you were planning to move. And yet you still expected me to help you prepare everything. On top of that, you try to make me take care of the house you are leaving behind. What I'm doing should fall perfectly well within the bounds of what you seem to find as acceptable behavior.
What are you talking about? You're basically saying you're disowning us.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Alice. Moving out and disowning your family are two completely different things. Moreover, where are you right now? The house is absolutely caked with dust. You aren't cleaning the house daily like you promised.
Mom, I never made a single promise to you about cleaning a house. I told you I was cleaning my house. My apartment is also my house, Mom. They are the same.
How could you do something like this to us?
Don't act like any of you ever even cared that much about me. As long as I can remember, you all have only seen me as your servant.
We never thought that.
Oh, really? How about we take a quick look back at what's gone? You started off by suddenly telling me, your daughter, that you were moving out of your house one day, before you planned to move. You planned to move, you expected me to do most of the moving work for you. Then try to order me to take care of the house after you were gone. You weren't letting me live there as thanks for how much I helped you. You were making it sound like an obligation. You did everything you possibly could to try to force me to handle caring for the house you were essentially abandoning. Is that the kind of treatment you think a daughter deserves? Do you think they'd see the relationship as mother and daughter or master and servant?
What are you talking about? All of that was Maya's fault. I mean, just look at how differently the two of you were acting. Not only were you single, you were nothing but a parasite latching onto and living off of us instead of living out there on your own. Maya, on the other hand, married a rich husband and did what she can to let us live a happy life. It should be obvious, of course, we would pay more attention to Maya.
Is that because Maya married a rich man, it's her fault that you treated me like garbage? I'd say the fault pretty clearly lies with you. You didn't want to have to deal with managing a house or the difficulties that just come with living. So you made me do everything.
What makes you think you have the right to talk to me like that?
Honestly, Mom. Expecting someone else to keep a promise you made without even telling them? No one would do something like that. That house is not my house. I don't see why I even need to tell you this. But it's the obligation of the owner of the house to take care of it, isn't it? If you didn't want to shoulder the responsibility yourself, then maybe you should have thought a bit more about the person you wanted to leave it to. But I guess it's just too late to go taking back everything you did now. Good luck cleaning up the house.
Hold on, Alice. Come on. You could at least just help us with the house, couldn't you?
I would appreciate it if you didn't try to treat my family like your own personal workhorses. You all are nothing to me now. I don't consider any of you my family. Please do not contact me ever again. Bye. After that last conversation, I felt I owed them an explanation as to what my mess of a family had been doing. It took a while to explain to them all the horrible things my toxic family had done to me. But when I was finally done, my mother-in-law wept and embraced me. It made me happier than I could have ever imagined in a moment. Burying my face into her chest as she reassuringly patted my head from that point on. I never returned to that house full of memories of a horrible upbringing with terrible parents. I started living a happy new life together with my husband and his family. My only family.
Luna, I'm so happy now. It's a happy ending for both of us. We're officially husband and wife.
I'm so happy to finally have it all sorted out.
It took so long. There seemed to be some confusion at the courthouse, but it's all good now.
Yeah, that's a very good news.
Did you get everything sorted out with your apartment?
Yeah, I did.
Let me know if there's anything I can help with. Is there anything left to move to our new place?
No. Just a few bags my parents are dropping off later. The moving service brought some things I won't be keeping to the thrift store. And I'm dealing with the last few things. The furniture won't be brought until tomorrow. But once they arrive, all we have to do is get things arranged.
Great. Are you at your old place now?
Yeah, the mirrors are just about to leave and I'm gonna be here for a while until my parents get here.
All right. I'll head over to the house now. I'm so excited to be living together with my parents.
Wait! What do you mean? I thought we were going to be moving into our own apartment.
Oh, sorry, Luna. I thought I told you. I decided not to rent that place.
What? I thought we talked about this.
We're gonna move in with my mom and dad for a while.
I thought we had picked an apartment out and we went to see it and everything.
I didn't bother moving forward with that place you had picked out. It looked like a dump.
What? I thought we had agreed on that apartment. I didn't agree to living with your parents. We should have our own place as a newly married couple. I thought you told me that you had gotten it all sorted out.
I guess I forgot to tell you I didn't do it.
What? How?
Calm down, Luna. Just take it easy. It'll be fine.
How can I calm down? You lied to me. You told me you had it all sorted out everything.
Well, I made it up. That lease was just something I found off the internet and filled in myself. I didn't want to trick you, but I didn't see any other way to do it.
To do what? What can I do about all my stuff? The moving service is already going to the other apartment that we don't actually have a contract for.
Just have them donate the rest of it. We don't need any of that stuff. My parents have plenty of furniture and stuff already.
What if I want some of that stuff?
There's no room for it.
Can't believe it. Why did you lie to me about all of this? Why not just tell me you wanted to move in with your parents instead of tricking me like this?
I knew that you never said yes unless I did something like this. So I had no choice but to lie.
Why would you ever do that if we had talked about it? I'm sure we could have come up with some kind of compromise instead of you just straight up lying to me.
Hey, Luna. Don't be so panic. I have my reasons. Just let me explain.
What reasons would you have for lying to me? I was worried that it might be hard to explain, but I really didn't have a choice.
My mom had a really bad ill last month.
What? Why didn't you tell me?
She was kind of embarrassed about it. She hasn't really told anyone actually. So I want to move in with her for a while to help her out.
Why didn't you just tell me this? I would have understood.
I'm sorry, Luna. And there's one other thing. I was hoping you might be able to take care of her. I'm so busy with work. And I do make enough for the two of us. So I thought you could just quit your job and take care of her until she recovers.
What are you talking about? I didn't marry you just to become a free home care nurse. And I thought we were going to have kids. How am I going to be able to have a baby and take care of your mom at the same time? It's going to be much harder while I'm pregnant and basically impossible with an infant.
Please, Luna.
What if I don't want to quit my job? You can't just ask me out of the blue to put my career into everything on hold because you can't find a way to take care of your mother.
Why are you so mad about this? We can have a kid and you'll have plenty of time for the kid even if you help with my mom.
But then I won't have time for anything else. You're absolutely out of your mind.
Well, it's not like we have any other choice. We don't have any other place to live right now. So we're gonna have to live with her for a while. I promise it'll be fine.
Mark! We need to talk right now. I'm at my limit. I can't put up with this anymore. You tricked me into being your slave. I'm not your wife. I'm just your servant.
What? What are you talking about? Haven't you gotten used to taking care of my mom by now?
How can I get used to this? I'm not a trained nurse. She requires professional care and you've got me working basically all day to try to keep her alive. You made it seem she's just a little illness. But it's way worse than that. I spend basically all day looking after her while you're at work. And you still demand a cooking clean on top of that.
If you haven't figured it out by now, I'm not sure what to tell you. My sister could manage all of that before she got married. Clearly you have some sort of problem if you can't do it.
If you helped me at all, it wouldn't be so bad. If you volunteered to take her to a couple doctor's appointments or helped with dinner or really just anything, maybe I could figure it out. But you won't even lift a finger.
What do you expect me to do? I'm busy with work. I don't have time to be chauffeuring her around to doctors and feeding her. I'm too tired to do anything when I get home.
How do you think I feel? I barely have time. I have to wake up in the middle of the night to take your mom to the bathroom. I can't even sleep properly. I spend all my time taking care of her and you do nothing. I'm done. I need a break. I'm going to a spa on Saturday. I need some time away from this to get my head straight. I'm going to go relax and think about what we're going to do about this marriage. I've just spent 2 months being your mother's unpaid care nurse. And don't start with me about paying for it. I'm using my own money.
Are you really going to abandon us to run off to spa? You don't care about us? I promised with my sister that you can take care of her children at weekend. I can't just reject her now. She already has plans of going on a vacation.
What? Why you agreed with her without asking me? I'm not gonna do it. You have to figure it out yourself.
Whatever, I already told her. So you better be home to watch them. You can't refuse now.
I can and I will. You're just going to have to watch them yourself. I have plans and I'm not changing them just because you didn't account for it.
Well, I have plans too. I'm going camping with my friends this weekend. And I can't change it. So you have to just cancel your schedule.
Absolutely not.
This is what you signed up for. You're my wife, and I expect you to do what I say. You can't just go buzzing off to a spa whenever you feel like. You must have a responsibility to this family.
I don't have a responsibility to anyone. You're treating me like a slave, but not your wife. A wife should be loved and cared about. You've barely even looked at me since we've gotten married. You come home in the middle of the night stinking drunk and pass out. I barely talk to you in person in months.
Well, I do what I want. Because I take care of my responsibilities. Unlike you, abandoning my mother like this.
I want to talk about responsibilities, pawning your sickly mother off on me like this. And I'm not abandoning anyone. I already hired a nurse to take care of your mother while I'm gone. I at least care about your mother to make sure that she's looked after. But I'm not gonna deal with your sister's kids. I'm not her babysitter. If you can't deal with that, maybe we should just get a divorce.
What?
Yeah, I'm tired of living with your family. And I haven't realized that you are an irresponsible husband until now. To be honest, I think about divorce many times, but I haven't decided yet. But this is the last straw. Can't take it anymore.
Where are you now, Luna? Mom told me you aren't at home today. Is she right?
Yes.
What? Wherever you are, come back home now.
Don't talk to me like that. I'm gonna go stay with a friend. I'm done with taking care of your mom. I told you if you keep trying to force me to do it, we're gonna get a divorce.
Are you being serious? Why would you do that?
You didn't give me much choice, Mark. I was being treated like a slave. So I decided I was done.
I don't agree. Are you leaving home and let my mom alone?
That's her problem, not mine.
You're so ungrateful after everything I've done for you. I married you and gave you this beautiful house. And that you went to our family, and this is how you repay us. My mom is ill now, she need taking care of. You even canceled the nursing service, right?
Yes, I don't want to using my money for that thing.
What? After all my family have given you, you just decide to run off and leave my mom.
What are you even talking about? You literally just turned me into your servant. I'm done with all of you. All you've done is take advantage of me. The divorce paper is in the drawer. Just take it out and sign it. I'm done with this marriage. We can fight it out in court if you want, but I'm not coming back. I'm not doing any of that. You better figure something out because I'm not going to be there to take care of your family for you.
You have to be my wife. I'm not going to stand for this.
Well, you don't have a choice. It's not like you're much of a husband yourself. All you've done is work and go out with your friends since we've gotten married. We barely had a wedding and we didn't even have a honeymoon. And you haven't even touched me once since we got married. I'm just a maid to you.
You're not a maid, Luna. Are you insane? You're my legal wife.
So what?
It's your job to take care of the house. I don't have to do anything for you. I'm done talking to you. I can't believe you can't get my thought. You need to come back home right now. My sister and his husband is coming. You need to be home to making a dinner for them. You have to take care of her children too.
What? It's so ridiculous. Why she find someone who actually can hurt your kids? Instead of just assuming I am going to do. This is what you get when you just assume everyone else is going to do stuff for you.
Don't speak to me like this. Let me tell you this. You have refused to take care of my sister's kids a lot of times. My sister now have to work more than before. She has to take care of children herself and go to work. She is the main breadwinner of her house. She works till midnight just to make ends meet. Don't you feel something? This is all your fault.
What? You must be kidding. Is that normal thing when mother looking after her own kids? And your sister is not a good person, Mark. She seems like ordering me to look after her kids instead of being kind. And she isn't a good mother either. She hardly sees her kids and give them all to you.
She doesn't seem like ordering you, Luna. Maybe she's just in a rush. We are family. That's nothing to worry about.
No, she is your family. Not mine, all right? And you think she has to work till midnight? It's so funny. She maybe tricks you, Mark. She's always going to nightclub every day.
No way. She told me she's so busy lately.
I get connected with her on social media, so I can know it.
No, I don't believe you. You're the one that caused all this. You should take responsibility for your actions.
Now you're going to lecture me on taking responsibility? I don't owe you anything. I never take a penny from you. Plus, you never love me. I'm not your family's babysitter and I'm definitely not your slave. I am moving out. You have to figure it out other things by yourself.
Please, Luna. Don't go. Don't leave me. Please come back.
I already told you I wasn't coming back. I haven't changed my mind. Why would I ever go back to that house? I'm going crazy here. I'm so tired all the time.
Please, Luna.
No. Bye.
Luna.
Free from demanding, unreasonable husband, I will live a much more happy life. After my leaving, Mark begged his sister to live in his house to take care of that old woman. Mark and his sister got in a fight each other. His sister then refused to keep taking care of their mother. She left their house the next day. Now Mark had no one to take care of his mother. And he sometimes had to look after the children. With all the evidence of his deception and forcing me to work as a servant, I easily able to convince the judge to hand over quite much money for everything he did.
Do you have a minute? We need to talk.
Yeah, I'm okay. What's wrong?
Did you happen to go out earlier today around lunch? I saw you walking with a strange guy. I never see him before.
Are you sure about that? Did you mistake me for someone else?
I'm sure it was you. I wasn't in my office much at all today besides early this morning. I was kept pretty busy running around town today. I think it's 2 o'clock that I saw you walking with someone up to a restaurant.
Well, Even if I was with someone today, what does that matter to you? Just because you saw me walking around with someone doesn't mean you're gonna accuse me of cheating.
You're right, just walking around with someone ordinarily wouldn't be a big deal. But you certainly have never dressed like that to go for a restaurant, at least with me, and people also don't usually hold hands with their friends.
If you're accusing me of something, why don't you just outright say it?
And if you want to insist that this was just some friend that you were with, I'm gonna have to concern about how close you should be with our friends. Well, I'm willing to hear you explain this one.
You're really sure of yourself, then you're positive it was me. I guess that's that. It looks like there's no point trying to hide anything now. I should have been more careful. I can't believe this is how you find out.
So you admit it then? You've been cheating, haven't you?
What a clever little detective. Yes, you saw correctly. I was with someone earlier today, and it wasn't just a lunch at a restaurant. We're on a date.
What else?
Do you want to know about my day? Is this what you were wanting to hear? I don't really have anything else to say. I think we're done.
Hang on just a moment.
What do you want from me? I cheated and now you know we're over. There's nothing else to say about it.
Don't you think that I deserve a bit of an explanation? Do you even know who this guy is? Are you in a relationship with him? What did I do to make you want to cheat? You can't be seriously asking me that, Steve.
Of course, I know who it is. His name is Pete. He works at the biggest IT company in the country. I'm almost positive that he's making about $1 million a year. Can you even imagine making that kind of money, Steve?
I see it all makes sense now. You're only with him because of his money.
So what if I am? If you even wanted to think about trying to match that, your only option would be to change jobs. You don't make nearly as much as he does, but who cares now? Your career doesn't matter to me anymore. We're done. You're always going to be stuck working at that pathetic factory. You'd need to shut the whole thing down if you ever wanted to change your career.
We both know that'll never happen. I don't think there's anything wrong with my career or how much money I'm making. I really don't understand you. Can't believe that. You want to throw this relationship away over money.
You haven't got a clue, Steve. I already told you your pathetic career doesn't matter. We're done whether you believe it or not. Alright, you might be the manager of that factory in the future, but that's all you have. You're totally worthless.
Alright, that's enough. I don't want to hear any more. Thank you for clearing that all up for me. If you've made up your mind, fine by me. Promise me one thing though, Layla, don't come back crying to me when it all falls apart.
You've got to be kidding me. You've got quite an imagination. I understand there's no way you could get over me that easily.
No lasting relationship has ever started out of an affair. You'll see. Good luck to you.
Maybe you should put that towards trying to advance your career. Save your good luck, Steve. You might need it to hold together that mess of a factory you can barely keep going. Bye. I have some wonderful news. I'm sure you'll be excited to hear all about it, Stephen. I thought it would be so kind of me to share with you. I just feel awful if you still had feelings for me.
What are you talking about? I don't need any help moving on. I don't care. I don't need any updates. I already told him over it. Whatever it is, you should tell someone who will share your excitement.
So I want to make it easier for you to give up on the thought of us ever happening again. I know you're just trying to act, Steve. It's fine. That's why I will help. You don't have to thank me. Just try not to get too upset.
I guess you're gonna keep texting me no matter what I say So, hurry up whatever.
I got married, Steve.
You? Already? But when?
That's right. It wasn't long after our last conversation. We didn't want to waste any time.
Not long after? It's only been like a few days.
Yeah, 3 days after our conversation.
You weren't kidding about not wasting time?
Of course I wasn't kidding. This isn't a joke. Pete proposed me at a luxury place, so naturally. He really is just perfect. I can't believe I almost missed out on being with someone just so amazing. It's a good thing. I won't have to live with any regrets now. Pete's already told me how much he loves me, and the fact that we got married so soon shows that he is a man of action. I don't think he could be any more perfect. I'm so happy.
Sounds like he's great for you. You really do seem happy. I hope it makes it easier to keep working your job that you hate and always complain about.
Stop trying to ruin my good mood.
You're right. Sorry for ruining the mood.
You're only trying to bring me down since you're still feeling so miserable. I won't let that happen though. You should realize that you're only worth as much as you make. Everyone knows that. I almost feel bad for you. Someone like you can't even compare to Pete.
Sure, that sounds great. Is this still part of your news, or are you done ranting now?
Stop acting like you don't care.
You said you were gonna share your excited news, and you've done that. It doesn't seem like you have anything else worth saying after that wonderful rant of yours. Does your fiancé know you're texting with me? Shouldn't you be spending time with your special new guy instead?
No, I didn't really mention it. I didn't think it was a big deal.
Of course you didn't anyway. Thanks again for that great update.
What? You really don't have anything else to say? Really?
No. Why would I? What needs to be said?
I don't know. I didn't think you'd react like this.
What did you expect? What were you hoping for exactly? Did you want me to get upset or angry? I told you I'm over it already. The whole situation is pretty hilarious. You actually married the guy you cheated with a couple of days after we broke up. It doesn't get much funnier than that. I've been laughing this whole time. I should be thanking you.
What is so funny?
So, congrats on your happy little marriage. I'm busy now. You should have to find someone else to share all that excitement with.
Hey, we need to talk, Steve. It's very serious. It's about Pete. There's something horribly wrong. Pete's supposed to be rich, but the paycheck income doesn't make any sense at all. He works at one of the biggest IT company, but he isn't making any money at all. How can he be making only $700 a month?
How did you find that out? Did you go looking at his pay slips or something?
Of course I did. It's a good thing I did, otherwise I wouldn't have known for even longer. I couldn't believe it. A measly $700.
You're right. That isn't very much money. It might be because he's only working a part-time job.
What do you mean a part-time job? Why would he be working a part-time job if he already has a job?
He does work in an IT company, but not full-time. He's only working there part-time, and he doesn't really do much, only part-time.
Only part-time.
I'm pretty sure he had only started working this job a year ago. Up until then he had just been living off his mother at home doing nothing. She probably got tired of him doing nothing and pushed him to start working at least part-time job.
He was living off his parents? Are you saying that Pete was a basement dweller?
That's a bit harsh, but probably a good way to put it. I think he did live in the basement.
I didn't have any idea that he'd been mooching off his parents for so long. But, how do you know so much about Pete? He never talked about his work that much.
Because he was my stepbrother.
What? Really? Is he your brother?
No, he was. He isn't anymore.
What do you mean? That doesn't make any sense.
My mother passed away when I was only 3 years old. When I was in junior high, my father remarried someone who also already had a kid. I think we've talked about it before. I guess you don't remember, right? The woman my father remarried was Pete's mother. Anyway, my father and his mother got divorced a year ago. That's why I said he was my brother.
That means you aren't technically related anymore then.
Well, I don't think we were ever technically really related. That's very fortunate for me. He always hated me even from the first look. So it's not like we ever treated each other as siblings. Even though we aren't related or on good terms with one another, we live in the same area. It's not hard to hear about his situation through our neighbors. Word of mouth, you know.
I can't believe this. So you knew all about him from the beginning and you never told me. Why didn't you say something? Why didn't you correct me? I thought that he was rich.
Why would I do that? Are you seriously saying that to your fiancé?
But you could have said something.
Layla, I don't actually know all the things in the first place. When you say your new boyfriend name was Pete, I didn't know that's my stepbrother. But I did hire a detective to investigate your relationship. And it's quite easy to find out everything. Pete just bragged about his salary to you. It's never easy to earn $1 million a year, Layla. But you were too greedy to realize that. And I had some conversation with Pete too.
What? Did you guys talk to each other?
It's pretty funny. Pete had said similar things to what you did before. He thought you were making a lot of money working at a salon. And that he was gonna hit the jackpot.
He said what?
Did you ever mention that your aunt was the only one working at a salon? Maybe he was under the impression that you were the one making all the money.
I think I may have mentioned something like that before.
Well, I don't know what you told him or how the conversation was. Somewhere along the line there was a bit of miscommunication. Or maybe the two of you weren't coherent when you had some of these conversations.
This can't be happening. I can't believe this.
Whatever, Layla. It isn't my problem. I'm sure the two of you will work things out and communicate better from now. I don't want to be involved with you or Pete anymore. Please don't bother me about this again.
Wait. Steve, you can't just ignore me like that.
What's wrong, Layla? We're done. You are the one to say that.
Steve, I know I'm wrong right now. Can we go back to we used to be? We used to be happy, right? Don't you remember that days?
Yeah, I do. I even bought an apartment at the city center in case we would get married.
Really? Why don't you tell me that?
I had been dating for 3 years before you cheated on me. I did love you so much. Actually, I was planning to propose you. I have to save every penny to prepare for our future. I don't even want to buy new clothes and car.
I'm really surprised, Steve. Everyone just knows you are an average guy working at an old factory.
I don't care what others think about me. I just need to do my work. My boss has recently given me a raise, too.
I'm sorry, Steve. Everyone makes faults, you know. Can you forgive me?
No. It's too late, Layla. To be honest, I feel lucky not to marry you. You backstabbed me. Can't imagine if you would be my wife. That's it. We have nothing else to say. Never contact me again. I don't want to see your face. Once Layla and Pete realized the truth about each other's work and income, they broke out into a huge argument. It turns out that what little money they both had was frivolously wasted. Everything including their savings had been used up. In that short month, they spared no expense under the delusion that the other person would be able to cover everything without any problems. On top of their financial problems, apparently Layla's aunt was actually renting the apartment they lived in on their behalf. She'd been receiving a flood of noise complaint from the other tenants of the apartment building, and eventually decided to cancel the lease. Layla and Pete had no choice but to move out of the apartment. It wasn't long after that the two of them filed for a divorce. Poor them,